The end is nigh, boys and girls. We've nearly wrapped things up with Chelsea, and fingers crossed we can do it with a couple of trophies. Hello and welcome to part 19 of my Football Manager 2019 playthrough with Chelsea. I'm Kevin. Coming up on today's episode, we have an FA Cup semi-final at Wembley against Southampton, plus the first leg of our Champions League quarter-final against Atletico Madrid. Tomorrow's episode is then going to be against Man United in the Premier League and the second leg of Atletico Madrid. So we've got at least a couple more episodes to go. Hopefully we can book a spot in an FA Cup final, so even if we mess things up against Atletico, we can finish the series in style. But first, we have to make our way past Southampton. I'm pretending the Premier League doesn't exist because we've ruined that. We've just messed the Premier League up. But this is the team we're putting out there to face Southampton at Wembley. We've got Kepa in goal. A back four of Alonso, Rudiger, De Ligt and Azpilicueta, with Jorginho in behind Kovacic and Barkley. That's right, Ross Barkley gets into the midfield ahead of Kante for me these days. I'm a big Ross Barkley fan. And then we've got Morata up front, supported by Hazard, and the superhero that is Willian, the greatest player ever to wear a Chelsea shirt. Let's get into the match. Hopefully score a big bunch of goals, because we want to not only book a spot in the FA Cup final, because depending how the Atletico game goes, it might be all we have left to play for, but we also want to give ourselves some momentum and some confidence going into that Atletico game, because our league form has been poor. Yes, we're still hovering around in the Champions League spot, but we haven't been challenging for the title really at any point this season. So I want to remind our players that we are actually quite a good team, and it was really just an injury crisis that we had around about November, December time, where we lost a whole lot of players all at the same time. We were kind of without any strikers at all for a good half a dozen games or so, and it ruined our push for the title, but didn't affect the Champions League at all, because it happened after the Champions League had wrapped up and before it came back again. So I want to use this game as a way to convince my players that the only reason we're not top of the league is because of that spell that didn't affect the Champions League. We can still go and win the Champions League. We're still the best team. Ignore the form in the league where you keep losing to, I think we lost to Arsenal the other day. And we've got to pretend stuff like that's not happening and just get fully focused on winning the Champions League, and maybe, just maybe, a cheeky little FA Cup to go with it, because if that's how we have to end the series, I can handle ending the series with an FA Cup final. We've got a penalty though with 12 games on the clock. 12 minutes on the clock. It should be Hazard to take. It is Hazard to take. And he scores straight down the middle as well. Keeper dives conveniently out of its way. It's Eden Hazard's 15th goal of the season. I think he's still our top scorer at the moment, which just shows how much of a mistake signing Icardi was, because we had a 25 goal a season striker in Morata, and all we've really done by signing Icardi is not be able to get Icardi to play well in our team and ruin Morata by not playing him regularly enough. So we've gone from having, I would argue, one of the best strikers in the Premier League in Morata's form last season to our top scorer as a midfield player, albeit a very good one. Jorginho now finds Barkley to Kovacic. Kovacic shoots. It comes back to Hazard. It's with Barkley again. It comes back off the post. We're playing quite well. 10 shots in the first 23 minutes. So Southampton have had 1. Alonso with the cross, and there's my man Willian. 13th goal of the season for him. It's not just Hazard who's stepped up to fill the goal scoring void. Willian with 13 goals already this season. I mean, he could, if he carries on scoring at the rate he has for the last 6 or 7 games, he could get up above 20 goals this season. He has been in incredible form over the last probably 6 weeks of game time. He's just become an absolute superstar. Age 31. I don't know if he's got his eyes on a big money move to China or something, and he's trying to attract attention from somewhere, or whether he's just decided he wants to win everything in what may well be his final year at Chelsea. I can safely announce now that I won't be at Chelsea next season. I'll be quitting at the end of this season regardless. But Willian might well be thinking at his age, this might be his last hurrah, and he wants to win absolutely everything. Obviously, we're not going to win the Premier League again, but he wants an FA Cup win. He wants a Champions League win. And who am I to deny him that when he's been such a hero for me? But Southampton, building a little bit of attack. This is the first time we've seen any kind of possession from Southampton, but it amounts to nothing. And hopefully we can just trundle nicely and calmly towards half-time now, regroup and just go out and finish the job. Maybe another goal early in the second half would be lovely, and then we could maybe bring Joveljic on and see what he's like in an FA Cup situation. Get him into a Wembley game. So we might need him in the Champions League. Who knows? I am pleased with the performance so far. We'll stay nice and calm. We don't want to get too excited. Southampton are relegation candidates in the Premier League, so it's not like we're playing against anybody who's any good. They've just had a nice run, presumably, to get to this point. Willian's been penalised there, but he's not booked, which is splendid, and nothing comes from the free kick because we just move straight on and continue with the highlight. And then, once again, anytime Hazard has been injured so often this season, he's still managed 15 goals, but he's just... Oh, now Kovacic is gone as well. This is the last thing I wanted, to have my players getting injured. We play Atletico Madrid in like 3 days' time, and now we're without two of our arguably our two most important players are now likely to be unavailable for that game, which is a disaster. And now Morata's down to 42% condition, so we're going to bring Icardi on for him. I probably should have brought Jovic on, but I'm panicking. I'm tilting now. I can't handle this. We've just lost 3 key players in a 15-minute spell of the game. That's utterly ridiculous. I've forgotten to go counter-attacking because I'm so worried about my players. Oh, we want to win the Champions League and it's all going wrong. Oh, at least we've got an FA Cup final to look forward to. But it genuinely might be all we have if they're proper injuries. I mean, if Hazard's going to miss both legs against Atletico, that's it. We will not win that tie without Eden Hazard. It just won't be possible. But we'll have to see what the situation is after the game. Can we just have the final whistle now, please? I don't want to risk any more injuries. This is hideous. I mean, it's like Southampton realised they'd lost and just started kicking our players. I'm going to blame Southampton for everything going wrong. Well done it. You're in the final. Well done it. Exactly. I'm panicking. What's wrong with my players? Inbox. So, Kovacic, 2 weeks. Hazard, 2 days. Okay, so Hazard will be back. Kovacic is going to miss Atletico, though. Both legs, which is rubbish. Well, we're going to be playing in the quarterfinal of the Champions League with both Hazard and Icardi injured, because Icardi managed to get himself injured in training as well. He's just going to have to play because Morata's suspended for the game, and Kasper Dolberg's not in our Champions League squad because I took him out to put Jovic in because I wanted to see him. God, I probably shouldn't have done that, but Dolberg's just been a massive disappointment since he signed, which is why I wasn't that bothered about keeping him in the squad. Other than that, we've obviously had to change in midfield as well. Kovacic has come out, Kante's come back in midfield. The rest of the team is unchanged. We're playing our counter-attacking system because we're away from home in the first leg. And the mission today is just about not embarrassing ourselves. Have they already got a new-gen player up front, or has he just got a very new-gen-y face? They've got a 17-year-old striker up front. Interesting. I wonder if he's any good. Right, so let's assertively say, yeah, first leg win would be good. I mean, I'm not actually that bothered about a first leg win. I just don't want to lose. I'm very interested to see that they've got a new gen up front. I don't know if that means he's just brilliant or they're having an injury crisis of their own and having to play a kid that they'd ordinarily never play in these circumstances. But I'm going to feel less incompetent at bringing Jovic on later in the game, knowing that he's not going to be the youngest, most inexperienced striker on the pitch. Hazard is struggling. He's now got a twisted knee to go with the injury he started the game with. How long do we keep him on the pitch for? Bearing in mind we've got the second leg next week, and we're going to need him for that as well. Oh, I need a goal here. Kante, stick it in the back of the net. Oh, I thought he had. Oh, if he had, I'd have been over the moon, utterly delighted. Icardi's hesitant because he's injured. Barkley's apprehensive. We just need to, let's show some passion. If in doubt, show some passion. There you go. Ross Barkley's still apprehensive about it. But at least it's fired up the two walking wounded up front. Although Icardi's now back to being hesitant again. And we've got nervous players as well. Come on, lads. We won the Europa League last year. We knocked... Oh, now my man Willian's down. We knocked out Real Madrid on their way to winning the Europa League last year. We should be able to knock out Atletico Madrid on our way to winning what most would argue is the lesser of the two European competitions, because we're all aware that the big one is the Europa League and we've already won it. So, you know, this will just be a bonus. Let's have a look at... I mean, Hazard's got to come off as well, hasn't he? We've got no one to come on for him without changing the system around. I mean, this is absolute disaster scenario. We're going to have to do this. In fact, we're going to do an old favourite. It's been a while, but we're bringing this thing out again. We'll do that because it's the only way to get players playing in their actual positions. We're going asymmetric, boys and girls. Right, Alonso now playing ahead of Emerson, but Emerson obviously still there on the overlap. We're still doing the counter-attacking system, but it gets Barkley into a more appropriate position for him. Alonso's still very nervous because he's now playing in midfield in the Champions League quarter-final. Icardi, why was he not in the area for the corner? Got to sort out my corner instructions. Emerson has been tackled there. But Alonso should be across to cover because we've got double left-back situation going on. And he was there to cover. What instruction did I give Alonso, actually? I've just stuck him there. Be a wide midfielder. Do I want him to be a wide midfielder? I mean, none of them make any difference, really. Should we say winger? Just because we want him to get a little bit further forward than wide midfielder do. I mean, that didn't feel like a real sentence. It seemed to have all the right words in it, but it just sounded a bit weird coming out of my mouth. This is why I need an editor. Someone come and edit my videos for me. Right. Atletico have a corner. Kepa comes and collects it comfortably. There was a lot of noises there. He's another one who's only just recovering from an injury. Nick Pope's been playing most of our league games recently, but Kepa now back from injury. Icardi came into the game with a knock, but actually seems to be doing okay fitness-wise. I mean, terrible actual ability-wise, so we're going to take him off anyway. And we are going to have a look at Dejan Joveljic. And he's got the opportunity to make himself a hero here. 20 minutes away from home in a Champions League quarter-final. We bring on our new wonder kid striker and say, look, just go and do what you want to do. It's all gone a little bit wrong today anyway. We're playing an asymmetric system, for goodness sake. Go do your business. If we come out of this with a 0-0, that would be an excellent result in the circumstances. And I thought that was just going to scream into the top corner and I was going to be distraught. But Kepa keeps hold of it. That should be that. The game should be over now. The game is over now. 0-0 in the first leg. I can live with that. We do just need to check. Let's act a little bit disappointed, but I'm delighted. We just need to check in with Eden Hazard and just see what's wrong with him. So Willian has broken his arm. Right, you can play with a magic cast on your arm. We need you for the second leg. Hazard, he's going to struggle to be back for next week as well. Well, that's going to be tomorrow's episode, and it looks like it's going to be a struggle. If you've enjoyed that, make sure you leave a nice big thumbs up on there for me. Subscribe to the channel for daily Football Manager videos, and thank you very much for watching.